Hello everybody, welcome to this quick reaction to today's FPL games / Premier League games, all the same thing really. It's really all been go today. Literally within the last half an hour we've had the police pretty much kick our door down and a car crash happening outside our house when it was at the 82nd minute of the Arsenal game. Couldn't make it up, could you? But today has almost been the perfect day, shall we say, from mine and Ray's point of view when it comes to rivalry. Going into today's matches, my biggest fear, I betted against all the results. But certainly the biggest fear specifically today was an Everton clean sheet, to be completely frank. That was it. I had no interest in Aston Villa versus Fulham. Not many people own those particular individuals other than potentially an Aston Villa defender. Well, Konza, essentially. Everton versus Ipswich was the big one. I know Alex Vollo captained O'Brien. Either A, one of his followers, or B, someone that follows Alex Vollo, tagged him to say that he triple captained O'Brien. And I thought I had it bad. 0 points. 0 points in a 2-2 draw. I know Ipswich have got a very, very small lease of life in them, but that ain't good enough from Everton's point of view. Then, of course, we had Leicester beating Southampton 2-0. Jamie Vardy, of course, making up from last week's penalty save to score today in a 2-0 win. And then, of course, the game in which I predicted Arsenal may struggle in, but I didn't expect them to lose, was losing 2-1 to Bournemouth, despite the fact that Evan Nilsson clearly had his elbow touch the ball and going into the back of the net, where VAR said there wasn't enough evidence. Well, it took you about 5 minutes to finally find the evidence that's there in front of you to show that Evan Nilsson's elbow did make contact with the ball, and yet you said, oh, there's not enough clear and obvious evidence. But it's just there. Even I can see it. Very odd. Very, very strange. You couldn't make it up, could you? Semenyo assisting in the goal for Huijsen, and obviously it was Rice and Odegaard for Arsenal. But yeah, me and Ray, I think, have got away with it today, because I was looking at last night at the mini league rival, my personal mini league rivals, and all I kept seeing was O'Brien and Pickford, O'Brien and Pickford, O'Brien and Pickford. They got a grand total of 2 points between the pair of them. There are some people that have tripled up with Mikalenko and Pickford and O'Brien. They get a grand total of 2 points. That's devastating. So I look at like the likes of Firetogs, who's my nearest and closest rival in the moderator league, and he's on bench boost, and his 3 Everton assets, Pickford 2, Decore, who wasn't even in the squad today, 0, O'Brien 0. His differentials on me, what I'll do is I'll just quickly put it up on the screen for people to see, to look at his team. But his team is basically now left with just pretty much the same players as what I've got. So his differentials are, he had last night in Ruben Diaz. So Ruben Diaz coming through with 7 points because he got a bonus point. But then it's Matoma versus Mbeumo captain, Sarr and Mateta. They're the 2 differentials on me. Obviously Saliba there. I've just realised Saliba conceding. And then on his bench, he has Henderson, which is my goalkeeper. He has, well, as you can see there, as I mentioned, Decore. Then he's got Estupinan. And then he's got O'Brien. So this specific game week 35 that we're in right now, it's only halfway through, and then into 36 is going to be really interesting from mine and Ray's point of view, because mine and Ray's point of view is that we're playing bench moves next week. We're going to go into it with 2 free transfers. We don't technically need to make any transfers next week. I'm also, and it's all dependent on the game tomorrow, but Cunha at home to Brighton, so Wolves at home to Brighton, could be potentially very, very profitable. Could be. Because me and Ray are kind of looking at it going, well, we need to go differential. Not in a suicidal manner, but certainly we need to go differential where it's logical. So next week, for argument's sake, what are the best captaincy options? Well, we look at the game between Fulham and Everton. Well, we're not going to be captaining anybody in that, unless your name's Alex Vollo. Ipswich, Brentford, there's a small possibility that Mbeumo could be a potential captaincy in that. Southampton versus Man City. Now, this could be the one. This could be the one where me and... I was going to say Brian. Who the hell is Brian? Brian Potter. Me and Ray could potentially say, do you know what? Can we squeeze in Haaland? It ain't happening because we ain't got enough money. But it's a potential talking point. But it would mean losing one of the other midfielders. So, to be honest with you, it's a complete waste of time. But I wasn't happy with the fact that Mamouche, he did take a knock. He was fine. He continued playing. But will Pep Guardiola play Haaland next week up front? Mamouche may still start, but Haaland up top to get him ready for the FA Cup in 6-7 days' time. Wolves versus Brighton, like I said, that could be really high scoring. Wolves looked really good, I thought, last night. Bournemouth, Aston Villa, forget it. Newcastle, Chelsea, Isaac at home to Chelsea. Could be potentially profitable, but once again, Chelsea, they're no mugs. It's not exactly going to be the most easiest of fixtures. But it is at 12 o'clock. It is at 12 o'clock. And Chelsea will be coming off the back of a European game. That's the thing. And having to travel all the way up to Newcastle as well, it's not exactly great preparation. So potentially Isaac could be somebody to captain against Chelsea. What I will do is I'll just quickly look at Chelsea's recent away form. And they haven't lost. They've only lost once in the last 6. They conceded... Whoops, I clicked the wrong button there. Sorry, they've lost 4 out of the last 6. They've won their last 2. They conceded 1 against Fulham in a 2-1 win. They drew 0-0 with Brentford, but the losses were they conceded 1 against Arsenal, a 1-0 loss. They conceded 2 against Aston Villa, 3 against Brighton, and 3 against Man City. And I kind of look at Newcastle being a kind of similar team to Brighton and Man City, where they just want to attack, score goals. So potentially Isaac could be on the radar there for captaincy. Man United, West Ham, I've got nobody playing. Nottingham Forest, Leicester, I've got defenders, but I'm not going to be captaining anybody in that. Spurs, Crystal Palace, I won't be captaining Eze. And then, of course, we've got Liverpool up against Arsenal. Arsenal will be coming off the back of a Champions League game against PSG, whatever the outcome is. I think that, I've already said this, I think that Liverpool potentially may go at Arsenal. I mean, when Dan or Ray speak to me on a voice message and they talk about they want to hold on to second spots, that's like a bare minimum in the Premier League. And they lose that game against Bournemouth. They're now 3 points only ahead of Man City, who are just going to win every single game until the end of the season. And then, of course, you've got Newcastle, who are just pretty much winning every single game towards the end of the season, apart from that loss against Aston Villa, which was just a blip in my opinion, because they were just absolutely shattered. I really hope that doesn't happen. I really hope that Arsenal do keep that second spot, because they deserve it, the way they've been performing this season. Man City, like I stated, I expect them in the next 3 games to get a minimum of 9 points. So yeah, Liverpool up against Arsenal, it could be a statement from Liverpool where they go out and just think, do you know what? We want to show why we're champions here and do them over. Absolutely do them over. Like what they did with Tottenham. Now, the games between these two particular teams, lots of 2s. In fact, we've had 2-2-2 draws, funny enough, in this fixture. But it looks... Liverpool do like playing Arsenal. Only once Arsenal have beaten Liverpool in the last 6, which was a 3-1 win back on the 4th of February 2024. Now, I'm going to ask the question. Get the comments in the chat after the video. Who scored those goals for Arsenal? Come on. Get them in. And who scored for Liverpool? Come on, get those answers in right now. You're wrong, and you're right. You're wrong. You're right. You're right. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're right. It was Saka with the first goal, Gabriel with an own goal in the 47th minute, Martinelli with the second goal, and then Trossard with the third goal. There was no assists, according to WhoScored.com, on those particular goals. But yeah, I expect Liverpool to make a statement against Arsenal, which, again, that's not great because that means then that Man City will probably end up going ahead of Arsenal thanks to goal difference. I'll quickly look at goal difference here. The answer would be no. Arsenal would still be second even if they were to lose to Liverpool because they've got a goal difference of +9 over Man City. The point being, though, is that I really just hope that Arsenal can get through these next few games and just get that second spot, basically. From an FPL point of view, tomorrow's the big day. I'm still a bit perplexed as to why there were so many rivals of mine that Captain Mbeumo. Now, I saw a comment from Andrew Ferguson, because I did put it in the bonus Patreon podcast that I did this morning about the captaincy decision choices from people this week, and why is it that Mbeumo all of a sudden came out on top? Was it because certain content creators went with Mbeumo so people just copied? Possibly, or maybe even probably. You then have the simple fact of, did people just think, actually, I'm not really fancying the so-called early kickoff with Marmoush, and I just want to go with Mbeumo because of reasons being that, like I mentioned all along, that he had really good home form and he gets an average of 8 points per home match. So Andrew's saying here that I'll give you my reason for choosing Mbeumo as captain. Mbeumo was always coming in for me as long as he didn't get injured in the Forest match. I didn't really fancy Salah due to the title celebrations and his teammates being wasted. Newcastle's record against Brighton worried me enough to avoid Isaac. Marmoush didn't impress me the last time I captained him. De Bruyne's minutes are a risk, so it came down to either Mbeumo or Bowen. But it became clear for me when I realised Graham had 2 free transfers, that's his rival. I just knew he was bringing in Mbeumo for Saka and Bowen in for Foden. I thought he would think that I would take a gamble on Bowen and captain it if I was taking a -4. So I thought I'd double bluff him and pick Mbeumo instead and stick with Sarr. The thinking is going into overdrive at the moment. I'm loving every minute of it, and Andrew's doing really well this season. But as I stated, it's a bit frustrating now because I'm meeting up with Gary, aka FPL with Beer, tomorrow, and what we're going to be doing is, when I meet up with him, we're just going to sit down quickly and basically talk about the upcoming games tomorrow, which of course are with Brentford at home to Man United, Brighton at home to Newcastle, West Ham to Spurs, and Chelsea versus Liverpool. Majority of my players are playing tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock, and then once the game finishes between Chelsea and Liverpool, roughly 6:30ish, I'm just going to quickly record a video, edit it together, and then when I get home, I'll be able to upload it. Essentially, me and Gary are doing a match of the day challenge. But it's just so frustrating that he's Captain Mbeumo, Triggerlips Captain Mbeumo, Firetog Captain Mbeumo, Gale Captain Mbeumo, Alex Loader Captain Mbeumo. Basically, all my rivals that are close around me captained Mbeumo. And it's kind of, if he comes through with a double-digit score, like let's just say a goal and assist, obviously I'll be really, really happy, but I'll just be thinking, but that was mine and Ray's differential captaincy pick. I don't remember anybody mentioning Mbeumo's captaincy. Till all of a sudden on deadline day, everybody, one of my rivals, seems to be going Mbeumo. Very frustrating from that standpoint. And yeah, like I stated, I think today me and Ray have got away with it again. I really do think me and Ray have got away with that today. I think the fact that Everton conceding 2 goals is just nuts. And the fact that O'Brien got a yellow card as well to get 0. And then, of course, like I stated, you had Mykolenko as well, who also got a yellow card, which means he got 0. From a rivalry point of view, I mean, I'm looking at Blonde's team here, Pickford, O'Brien, Mykolenko. 2 points between. That is absolutely outrageous. It legitimately is absolutely outrageous. And it's funny because, as I keep stating, I am bitter about it. This is Blonde's wildcard team, but I am bitter about it. I am bitter at the fact that me and Ray are finally getting the luck that, not even the luck that we deserve, just luck within FPL. And it's just come way too late, annoyingly. So there's Blonde's wildcard team. They're Pickford, Vardy, O'Brien, Mykolenko, Bowen and Mbeumo, Salah, De Bruyne, Wood, Visser and Isaac. And then on the bench, we have got whoever's there, basically. Flecken, Rodgers, Ruben Diaz and Nico Williams. So it's basically the template wildcard going into game week 36. Let's not mess about here, which is perfectly fine. It's just a very, very good team. But from mine and Ray's standpoint, going into tomorrow, we're relying on, well, Newcastle to be keeping a clean sheet. Ain't happening. Jacob Murphy and Trippier to come through with something. Again, it ain't happening. But from a differential point of view, it's ironically it's down to the Crystal Palace game. And right now, a 0-0 would be incredible. But I don't think that'll happen. I think I've got Crystal Palace to win 2-0, 2-1. I think it's 2-1 that I've got it down as. But I think, for me, a 0-0 between those two would be the perfect scoreline for me and Ray. If not, a 1-0 win and Eze scoring that goal. I just don't really see it. And I think after today, in my opinion, after today, almost we're back to square one, where it's just, most of us have got very, very similar teams going into tomorrow and coming out into Monday, and then coming out of the game week where we're kind of bordering on being equal. Yeah, like I state, me and Ray got away with that today. See you later.